How many of you really get in the mood when you hear that theme song in the background? The Netflix smash hit, Stranger Things. Let me tell you something. A couple years back, not only was Stranger Things just a mammoth hit, it was the mammoth hit. Streaming numbers-wise, 52 billion minutes streamed of Stranger Things for Netflix. Now, in order to create, if you watch Stranger Things, right, you know the TV show has this Demogorgon, right, a demon, which is really one of the pivotal roles in the series. And that Demogorgon is all the result of visual effects, VFX. Now, some of you may know that Montreal is one of these cities worldwide that are one of the hubs for visual effects in the VFX industry for Hollywood and the like. And it's Montreal's own Rodeo FX that has really been making a name for itself, thanks to shows like Stranger Things and countless films and TV series. Let's find out more about Rodeo FX and how they have found themselves in a position that dominates the VFX business. Isabelle Langlois is with us, Senior VP and Executive Producer over at Rodeo FX. Isabelle, welcome to the program.
Thanks for inviting me.
So how does it feel, by the way, when you get recognition, right? There are a lot of people pointing out the work that you do. And, I pulled up the Rodeo FX website just to see the stuff you're working on, the upcoming releases, House of the Dragon coming up, Game of Thrones, that Game of Thrones series that's coming out. I see your work on Dune and Masters of the Air. The list goes on and on. How does it feel when Rodeo FX gets recognition for the work it's doing?
Well, since our inception, we've been trying to position ourselves to be more of a boutique that specializes in high-end visual effects. So we've always have really nice projects that have great visibility that we've been working on. So, of course, we're really proud of our work and proud of the visibility it has. And most of the time, it ends up being the shows that have the most visual effects, so the big blockbuster that you've just named.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable the stuff that you work on. No wonder if you're the boutique that wants to focus on the high end stuff, from Halo to Silo, Guardians of the Galaxy. This is as high end as it gets. What do you think you guys are doing right at Rodeo FX? There's a lot of competition in the industry. What do you think Rodeo FX is doing right?
Yeah, that's a good question, and indeed there is a lot of competition. We are specialized in every aspect of the visual effects. So some studios are specialized only in some part of the pipeline step. We do pretty much everything. Could be full CG environment, creature. So I think the fact that we're able to do a bit of everything, and also the fact that we've been used for the past almost 20 years now of dealing with the big studios, the Marvel, Warner, Disney, and we are able to deliver what they need and to grow during the show, because usually there will be projects that require a fairly large amount of visual effects. So they have trust in us, and they're used to work with us.
So let's talk about that relationship. Hollywood's a difficult business. Talk to anyone. Yes, you can make tons of money, but you can also lose tons of cash in Hollywood. So let's talk about the relationships that you've had to build with the various studios. And how did you build those relationships? Because it seems to be another difficult task.
Yeah, we're working with them from the early stages of a project. Often we'll be there before there's even a director on the show. We'll be evaluating the scripts. We'll create breakdowns for them. And as soon as there's a production team, we'll be involved with our concept artists. We have some of them that are based in LA. They'll meet with the director and try to get the right feeling for what he's got in his mind and how he described it in the script. So we'll be very involved as creative from the early beginning. So I think that helps creating this relation. And, then there's the shooting. And while they're shooting, we're going to be on set as well, and we're going to be making sure that everything's shot in the right way so we can do our work after that, the visual effects. And then we will be working pretty much until the film release. So that's a very long relation. For us, a project can last a year and a half in average.
We're with Isabelle Langlois, Senior VP and Executive Producer at Montreal's Rodeo FX, one of the world's biggest VFX, visual effects firms. So, Isabelle, how much artistic freedom does your team have? You know, because obviously you get scripts and you get the words on a piece of paper that come from the people working on these shows. Here's what we want. And then you've got to turn it into real life. Talk about that part of things, the artistic freedom that allows you to create whatever we're going to end up seeing, whether it's a demo Gorgon or anything else.
Yeah, we have a lot of freedom, but obviously needs to stay in the direction of the director. So that's really a teamwork with them. And then for us, it's a lot of research too. So talking about the Stranger Things creature, we need to make sure that what we're going to design could be real, although obviously it's never going to be real, but the way we're going to design the muscles and the way that the monster is going to move or it's going to rotate and all that, we need to make sure that it's credible. And I think that's also part of the creativity that we need to have and our input that's important on that.
Isabelle, how is the industry changing? I mean, artificial intelligence, and I see some of the stuff that it's able to do visually. I'm not so sure it can replace a lot of things that companies like yours do, but how are you integrating AI? How is it changing the industry?
Yeah, well, for us, we've been working with AI for a long time now. Now it's getting to another level where you've seen some images that can be created just by typing some information, and then it creates it right away. I think, yes, this is changing the landscape, but also there is, a level of precision that we're able to have that these software don't do yet. But yes, there is some part of the pipeline steps that some work that will be able to be done by computer now. And as rotoscopy, let's say, which is part of our pipeline, something very repetitive, for sure in a couple of years, that will be done entirely by machines.
So let me ask you about, you must go with the ups and downs of Hollywood, I imagine, in your industry. And there have been, some recent strikes in the industry. Actors and writers went on strike, and now I hear there may be further strikes with production crews in Hollywood. What about that part of the equation? How difficult has it been over the last little while, considering previous strikes and the threat of further strikes?
Yeah, the strike last year had a huge impact on our production. So what was supposed to be filming last summer and during the fall never happened. So there's a huge gap right now. So we would be working on images at the moment, and we never received these images. Now they're shooting what they should have been shooting at that time. So we had to do some temporary layoff and wait that filming is done so we can get the images to start working again. And in the past 20 years, that's probably the first time something like that happened at this scale.
And Isabelle, just to wrap up here, when you watch TV shows or films on streaming services, do you get a little annoyed when they try and skip over the credits? Because that's when I find out how much work you're doing in the industry, is when I watch the credits and I see Rodeo FX and I see people on your team listed in the credits. Is that annoying now that in the streaming era we skip over the credits at the end of the show or the film?
Yeah, the mentality are changing. Visual effects was new a couple years ago. Now it's more common to have it on all of the shows. Of course, we're a small part of the end credit, and we're also towards the end, but we're working the entire timeline of the show. So, yeah, it is, and most of the time we're not able to put everyone in the end credits. So we have some hope that it's going to change with the years.
Well, I'm glad to give your company a little bit of a spotlight on this program this morning, because you can't skip over it. Thanks, Isabelle. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
That's Isabelle Langlois, Senior VP Executive Producer at Rodeo FX.